how quickly can we scale back fossil fuel consumption and CO2 emissions with efficiency measures? One of the ways to measure that would be if we could offset the rising costs of energy by implementing efficiency standards or implementing efficiency measures in our state. I'd like to know if anyone thinks that that's possible, starting with Ms. Grunich from my home state of California.
It is possible. The great thing about energy efficiency is we have the technologies, we have the knowledge. This is not an R&D program that we're going to get the results 5-10 years from now. I just returned from a trip to China last month on energy efficiency, and China is very interested in energy efficiency, and they are ramping up very quickly at the provincial level to do it. It is a matter of thinking it through, making sure that you've got, you know, it set up in a way that you're delivering it. But energy efficiency, once I believe there's the policy, the leadership, and the funding, you can get programs ramped up very quickly.
Anyone else care to take a stab? Mr. Sellikers? Go ahead.
Based on the experience that we have, I think you can do about 1 on the low end side to 2% of the annual consumption. Right now, I would say in the United States, we're probably reducing the demand by maybe 1/4 to 1/2 percentage point. So if we get a little bit serious about this and get the federal and the state governments behind it with some kind of a taking some of the money back into the consumer, I think we can get up to 1 to 2% of the annual consumption. That's why in my testimony I said that if we establish a target of 1.6% per year, by year 2020, we will be a 20% reduction of the energy consumed in the United States.
And that's the entire spectrum of energy consumption.
Correct, correct. And there will be some cases, for example, if you take some of the housing, infrastructure, etc., that you will save as much as 30%. But in some other sectors, you will save only 10%. But in the aggregate, based on the experience we have, you can achieve 1 to 2% annual reduction of the energy consumption.
So where do you see the sort of low-hanging fruit? Is that with utility production of energy or automobiles? Where do you see the easiest?
I think it's the end users. It starts with people will be surprised. The residential sector has tremendous potential for energy savings, where you can reduce the consumption by 30 to 40%.
But that's going to require subsidies or some sort of government intervention, isn't it?
Not that many. No, you take you buy back the projects from a 7-year project down to a 5-year payback, simple payback projects. Then the industrial sector, tremendous potential for energy savings,
right,
as much as 30%. And then you have the commercial, the industrial, the institutional sector, the federal government, for example. Tremendous potential. In each and every facility we go, we save 30 to 40%. If I take 1 minute, we were in Elmendorf Air Force Base. We invested a $50 million project, and we did a complete energy savings retrofit. We estimated we'll save them 30%. The project is up and running for the last 3 years, and we saved them over 40% of the energy savings. So tremendous potential on the institutional sector for energy savings. So it can happen.
Well, one of the things that I've been hearing, and I understand to be true, is that the buildings produce more than 50% of our nation's greenhouse gases. Where is the majority of that energy coming from? Is that to heat and HVAC, or is that the building materials, or where does that energy go?
A substantial amount is on the heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. But even though as simple as the lighting retrofits, if you took just the lighting retrofit alone in the United States and you go from the incandescents to fluorescents, they say it's as much as 10 to $15 billion investment a year, and that's less than simply 1-year payback. So just that conservation measure alone.
So that's going to take I mean, realistically, to get building owners, including homeowners, to get invested in this, they're going to have some incentive.
That is correct, and that's why we say some of this money goes back into the states or whichever administrative body has control, and simply buy back the paybacks.
Yes, Mr. Klein.
Congressman, that's the way we structure programs in California. We're basically, the utility designs programs, we have about 85 separate programs that are designed to do exactly what you described, to pay down the cost of some of these investments, facilitate a faster payback, and to get over some first-time hurdles. For example, a lot of commercial buildings are built by people who are just going to flip them and not own them, or who won't pay the HVAC costs because those are charged to the tenants. So trying to get, as those buildings are built, get them built to high standards of energy efficiency means that you're going to have a higher comfort level, and you're also going to have a much cheaper, better building.
Do you see any opportunity with LEEDs to create a tax incentive for building efficiency? Mr. Dakotas?
Yes, we have a tax incentive in New York for LEED certified buildings, and it's been very effective. I would like to add also that I would concur that I think electric and gas efficiency programs could save on the order of at least 0.5% to 1.5% per year. I also believe, I believe this is the experience in California, and I know it is in New York, because we've been offering efficiency programs for near 3 decades now. There is a industry that's been developed that is poised and ready and waiting to take on a competitive market for energy efficiency, and it's really quite a robust market. It's disparate in different states, but I've seen the industry grow from infancy to what it is today, and it is quite a robust market.
I hope, am I imposing on my time, Mr. Chairman?
I wouldn't use the word imposing. You have exceeded your time, but the brilliance of your questions absolutely would not allow the word imposition to be used. But if you don't mind, perhaps your time could expire right now.
Okay.
I will ask some
I yield.
questions, and we'll come right back to you again.
Okay.
Great. And by the way, the gentleman from California is actually founded a renewables company out in California, so he's got some background in it as well.